At ease, at ease. How you doing, my brother? I'm low size, right? So he was going over keeping of laws and your nationality. So just do a quick overview of what that is. Do you know what your nationality is?
My real nationality?
Yes, your true nationality, what God calls you.
No.
You say an Israelite, right? So that's a nation, right? You know, out of which tribe are you from?
It's kind of hard. My grandmother, she's from the Bahamas.
Okay.
I would say Caribbean, I would say Caribbean. I'm more Mediterranean.
I got you. Give me numbers 1 and 3. Okay, so you're a little confused there, but what? But you know you belong to the 12 tribes, right? Let me help you with your narrowing down your decision right here. Read that.
The book of Numbers.
Verse 18.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assemble all the congregation together.
So this is the book of Numbers. They're numbering, they're assembling all our people together. Come on.
And they assemble all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
Read.
And they declare their pedigree.
They declared their what?
Their pedigree.
So they're declaring their what? Their tribes. Their pedigrees, right? By what?
After their families. By the house of their father.
By who?
By the house of their father.
So you're hearing right here, there's no such thing as a mixed person.
That's right.
You are who your father is. And your father is who his father is. And so on and so on. Because of what? If you had a garden, right? You had a apple seed.
Bring it out.
You plant an apple seed in your garden, what's gonna come out the ground? An apple tree, right? You take that same seed, batch of seeds, and you plant one in China, one in Africa.
Right.
Is it gonna be a different fruit that comes out? No, it's all about the seed and who carries the seed. The men.
That's
We
right.
carry the seed, so it doesn't really matter about the moms. They're important, but your pedigree, your line, is your father,
That's right.
right? So what is your your lineage, like who you are, like you are who your father is. So for instance, if your mom was a quote unquote white person or an Edomite according to the Bible, right? And your dad was black, you would be considered a black man.
That's right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? For instance, Drake, you know Drake? He has a son. The woman's
His son look like his mom.
looks white,
Bring it out.
but that baby's a black. He's gonna be black because his father's black. Even though his mom's white, that baby's gonna be black because of blood that's inside of him.
Right.
So this isn't a color thing. So some people are like, oh, he's saving black. No, it's not about color because you have Africans, right? Do you believe we're Africans? Give me that Exodus.
Bring it out.
Africans. You may be like, oh,
Not everybody in America. Not every black person in America ain't African.
right. But are we Africans? Israel, are we Africans? Because all praises. Because you may have heard like some doctrine saying blacks sold blacks to the whites, and then the whites brought us here. You might have heard that in Africa, right? Because what? Like we showed you earlier, you see the signs of the transatlantic slave trade. You see the map of how the route we took, right? So they would say blacks sold blacks, right? Oh, you sold yourselves. Then that kind of like goes against what the Bible is talking about, because the Bible says your enemies will sell you, right? How can we can't sell each other? But let me show you why they tell you that. They want to keep you away from the truth. All right, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
God, the God of the Bible, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? He refers to all the other nations as dogs.
That's right.
If you're not on that sign, he considers you a dog, right? Read.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. Against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doeth put a difference.
What?
How that the Lord doth put a difference.
So the Lord puts a difference
Between the Egyptians.
Egypt. Where's Egypt at? It's in Africa. So the Egyptians, right? So God puts a difference between the Egyptians.
Between the Egyptians and Israel.
And the Israelites.
That's right.
So that God is saying, you're not African, right?
Right.
You are an Israelite, right? And we're going over earlier, why did this happen to us? They were going over, why did we come here on slave ships? Why did we lose our nationality? Why do you believe that? Right here. It was taken from us. Do you know why?
That's just like when France took over Haiti.
Yeah.
And they took it back, but they lost their original language and they keep French.
They speak French. Yeah. Do you know why the white man came and overtook us? Why do you think on one plantation there'll be like 10 white folks and like thousands of blacks?
Right. Because they can't do the work by themselves.
But how they have all of them in control? Imagine today with the smarts we have right now, huh? Right. We fear.
They had their own Bible.
Right. Okay. So they taught us what? Because you may think, is this a white man's book? But they use the same book to keep us under control. So it's not the Bible that's wrong, it's the people who teach you. And that's why you get this image from. When you can't read and write for years, and you say, this is your God, serve him, and they say, slaves, obey your masters, we can get that. I can give you the true understanding of what that actually means. You heard that before, right? Slaves, obey your masters. That's in the Bible. But I'm going to get you the true understanding of what they're talking about. Because with the way they talk about it, it's false. But the way that God wrote it, there's more wisdom behind it, right? But I was showing you, why did we come here on slavery? Why? Why did the white man come on our shores and take us all across the world on slave ships by the millions? I'm going to show you my...
They were selling us to was America. They were going to different continents and dropping us.
Right. That's what... Okay, let me show you that map. That's why I wanted to show you that map, because it shows you everywhere that we're going. Where that? There we go.
I'm a history buff.
There we go. There we go. All praises, my brother. Right. So you see, they even went up to Europe. Yeah. They went up to Europe. They went to China, Asia. So we have black people all four corners of the world. We are everywhere.
Black people in China, right?
Israelites, we're everywhere, my brother. And that's because what? God said this. Hold that. Hold that. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 27. We're going over why we got scattered. Why did they come and do this to us? You need to know these things so what? It doesn't happen again. What? Or what? If we do opposite, huh? Oh, yes, that's 100%. How did they separate the people in this sign? By this. Read this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
Read that apart again.
And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
God says, I'm going to scatter you among the nations. Read.
And ye shall be left few in number.
I'm going to send a few million here. I'm going to send a few million up here. I'm going to send a couple 100,000 over here. So he's separating us and we're left few in number. Read.
And ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whether the Lord shall lead you.
So he said that was going to happen to us. For what? Get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15.
Bring it out.
This is why we got scattered. Because once we were on top of the world, can you believe that you and your forefathers, we actually ruled the entire globe? Why don't you know that history? And who was it? Right.
Like we didn't already know that we already felt that we
Okay, all right, out of your forefathers, who ruled the world? Do you know? Yeah, because you may understand, there's a chance if blacks ruled the world, but do you know exactly? Who can you go back to in your mind in history and be like, my forefather he ruled the world? Do you know? 1 Kings 4 and 20. I'm about to show you. So now you're getting your true royal history.
That's right.
And who you descend from, right? Like the officer was going over earlier. This is our history. Right. They see how Moses split the sea. That's just not some random fact of history. That is actual your history, right? Yes. You got what I want? Read that.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 4 and verse 20. Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude.
Can you count the sand of the sea? Can you count the sand that's at one beach? No. That's how many of us were there. When we were ruling the world, that's how many of us. But God says when he scatters us, let few in number. Read.
Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms.
And who?
And Solomon.
Do you know who King Solomon is? Hold that. Song of Solomon 1 and verse 5. It's King Solomon. He is the wisest man that ever been on this earth, besides Jesus Christ. King Solomon was the richest king ever on this planet. And it said he reigned over the whole world. Who is that man? They're not going to tell you if you type in King Solomon, you might see a white man.
What?
Let's see what the color of his skin. Read that.
The book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5.
So, read verse 1.
The book of Songs, the book of the Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's.
So, this is the Song of Songs, which is of Solomon. So, Solomon wrote this himself, right? So, we're reading a book that he wrote. Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. I am black, but comely.
Solomon said he looks like what?
I am black, but comely.
What color is King Solomon? Read that again. This is King Solomon speaking. He says, I'm black and comely, black and handsome. Don't we say that? Oh, we black and handsome, you know what I'm saying? That's what, he was saying that in his own way back then. I am black and handsome. I'm the richest man in this world. And go back to, let's get some more accolades about King Solomon, of how he weaved your history, your true history, that they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know you're related to King Solomon. Why? Because we're going to come back to this point. Read that.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 4 and verse 21. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines and unto the border of Egypt.
He said he reigned over all kingdoms. Do you know what happens when you reign over all kingdoms? You are the ruler of that planet.
That's right. That's right.
So how do we go from above all nations to what? To being despised and hated by everybody on this planet? Because that's the top of the world, as the sand of the sea. Imagine that right now. You and your people, they're on the currency. Your people are making the laws. Your brother is serving you. You know what I'm saying? We're serving each other. No, but now we hate each other. We can't stand each other. We kill each other when one step on each other's shoes. We sell drugs to one another. We whore out our sisters. How do we go from being on top of the world to where we at today? I got to read to you, my brother. Give me Deuteronomy 28. You got something else? Nah, read that. Verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28.
Go to verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1.
So we were on top of the world. Read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
So the Israelites, the people in the sign, that includes you, we had to do all of God's commandments, and then what? He promised us what?
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Didn't God fulfill that promise? He says if we kept his commandments, we would sit on high above all nations. Right. King Solomon has done that, right? We were multiplied by the many. We had so many people, and we ruled all kingdoms. Right. But what happened when we decided to do the contrary? Verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If we did not keep all of God's commandments, right? For instance, the Big Ten, right? Have you heard of the 10 Commandments? All right, so for instance, if you believe you're keeping all 10, at least, those are serious commandments. That's killing, stealing, you know what I'm saying? Do you believe you're at least keeping all 10 of those?
Truthfully, no.
You don't think so, right? You think if you're not at least keeping the Big Ten, you're going to get into the kingdom of heaven?
No.
That's how serious it is. Because what? This nation, it makes it so easy for us to sin that we don't even know we're breaking at least the Big Ten. So if you think if you're not killing people, right, but you're breaking one of the Big Ten, it's equivalent. Let's read the 4th commandment, brother. The 4th commandment, Exodus 28, and then we got to close it out. Because you got to know how to at least keep the Big Ten. All right, the 5th, honor your mother and father. Do you honor your mother and father? That's one of the Big Ten, my brother. If you would hate one of them, you're breaking it. But let me show you the 4th, which a lot of our people get wrong, and it's by design. Read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
God tells us to do what?
Remember the Sabbath day.
He says, remember the Sabbath day. Do you know what the Sabbath day is? Exactly. That's the 4th commandment. That's how he starts it off saying what? Read it from the top again.
Remember.
He says to remember this. Don't ever forget it. But we forgot. So we're breaking what? One of the Big Ten.
Right.
That's how, if a lot of our people died today, they would not make it because they're not at least keeping what's on the 2 tables of stone.
That's right.
That's how important it is. Let's finish that out.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor.
So we have a 7-day, God gave us a 7-day work week, right? So this, Sunday through Saturday, right? He said 6 days out of that week, you're supposed to what? Like an officer went over, you're supposed to provide water for yourself, food, raiment, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head. You have 7 days to work, do what you have to do. But what?
But the seventh day.
But what day?
But the seventh day.
Which day is the seventh day? Saturday. So you have Sunday through Friday to what? To go to your work, do your job. Saturday's the day we're supposed to remember to keep holy. All praises, my brother, you're starting to catch on. Right, but he said, but the seventh day what?
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
This is a Sabbath of the Lord thy God. You must worship God on the Sabbath day. Ever since the day you were born, you were commanded to worship him every Saturday of the day of your life. You cannot take no days off when it comes to worshiping your God. Read.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
That's his Sabbath. Read.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Are you supposed to be working on Saturdays according to God? No. All praises. Do you know? You know what else you're not supposed to be doing on Saturday?
Bring it on.
Let's get another one. Let's get another one. Come on. I'm gonna read them for you. Read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 23. The book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 23. And he said unto them, that this is that.
Read that again.
And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord.
So in this instance, it's the day before the Sabbath. It would be like considered Thursday, approaching, or Friday is approaching the Sabbath right now. Right now we're in the Sabbath because the sun fell and the sky is completely black. Right? So from sundown to sundown is how God commands us to measure our days. Not 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. That's how the white man measures his days. We're supposed to do it but when the sun goes down. Actual opposite. So when the sun came down on Friday, it became Saturday. So right now it's the Sabbath. So he's saying the day before, so you had all of the daytime of Friday to do what? Read.
Bake that which ye will bake today.
So you see, you're supposed to be cooking the day before the Sabbath, right? Read.
And seed that ye will seed. And that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So
why? Exodus 35 and 3, he says you're supposed to cook the day before and lay up the leftovers for the next day. Why?
The book of Exodus, chapter 35 and verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
Nehemiah 10 and 31. So, actually, Leviticus 23. So, you're not supposed to cook in your household. I was about to show you the scripture about what? No conducting business. You can't go buy or sell in the morning when you get up. You know, you're supposed to have food already prepared for today. So you can't buy or sell, you're not supposed to work, and you're not supposed to cook. But what are you supposed to do? And this is why we come out here for you, my brother. Verse 3.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 3. 6 days shall work be done.
So we're reading about what? The Sabbath day. Read.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
In it.
And holy convocation.
It's a what?
And holy convocation.
God commands us to have a holy gathering.
That's right.
You're supposed to gather with like-minded individuals. You believe in this Bible, my brother? Right. We believe in this Bible also. We believe in teaching and keeping the commandments of this Bible.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.